All right, thank you for tuning in to Kingdom Care Everywhere. Today's sermon is entitled, Give It a Name to Cover the Shame. All right, give it a name to cover the shame. And I'm coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verses 1 through 13. All right, starting verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have the Most High said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Okay, so when we know the word, when we have a relationship with the word, we can't be surprised when evil comes to test us, to see how knowledgeable we are of the word, right? Evil's going to come. It's gonna tempt us, right? Okay, you know the word. You're in a relationship with the word. Let's see how you obey the word, right? Verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. But of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Okay? And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. For the Most High doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as Elohims, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. Okay, so when evil comes and we're tempted by evil, when evil wants to see, okay, you know the word, you're in a relationship with the word, right? Let's see how you stand on the word. Let's see how you obey the word. Okay, when we disobey, it gives us a sense of self-gratification. It gives us a sense of power, right? But there's consequences to every action. There's consequences to every action. Am I saying this to encourage anyone to disobey or rebel against the word? Of course not. Of course not. What I'm saying, to keep it a buck, is when you disobey, when you rebel, right, there is going to be a sense of gratification, self-gratification. There's going to be a sense of power. There's going to be a sense of entitlement. All right? And evil knows this. That's why evil will come. Okay? Verse 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. When our eyes are open, when we disobey, when we rebel, what? Right? What we do is we'll give it a name to cover the shame. Okay? They sewed together fig leaves and made an apron. What do we do and what have we done for ages? Is we've taken a denomination, sewed it together, some things that's not true with some things that are true, right? And we've made an apron to cover the shame. So since we're covered up from the shame, since we've been exposed in our nakedness, we walk around with these denominational titles, okay? Things that we were never meant to follow, things that we were never meant to do, because why? It's contrary to the word, so therefore you rebellious against the word when you follow these things. I don't care who started the denomination. If it didn't line up with the word, it is not the truth. There might be some truths in there, right? Some truths to cover the nakedness, to cover the shame, right? But you know, if you study for yourself, it doesn't line up with the word. All right? So let's read on. Verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Most High walking in the garden in the cool of the day. So we hear his voice. Even when we in a state of rebellion, a state of disobedience, right? We're being led astray by denomination. We hear his voice, right? So what do we do when we hear his voice, right? And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High amongst the trees of the garden. So we hide ourselves when we hear his voice. How do we hide ourselves? We don't stick to this. We don't stick to the word. What do we stick to? We don't cling to the word, which he is the living word. The word became flesh, right? What do? We cling on to that denomination. We cling on to denominatives, right? That's exactly what we do to try to hide ourselves. We hide behind the denominational title, okay? We hide out of pride, right? We hide behind that tree, that denominational title, okay? Verse 9. And the Most High called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. See, we get more and more clever at hiding, right? We try to play hide and seek from the Most High. We think we're hiding, but we're not. He knows where we're at, right? But we get more and more clever the deeper we get into these denominations at hiding. We know we're hearing his voice telling us, come out of her, my people. Come out of that denomination, my people. Come out of that false religion, my people. But instead, what do? We hide behind that denominational title, right? And we get better and better at it. The more we hear his voice, the more and more that we're going to run and we're going to try to hide from him. Okay? One day, you're not going to be able to hide anymore. You're not hiding from him, right? You're hiding from what you know is right. You're hiding from the truth. So one day, if you keep on hiding, that game of hide and seek that you're playing, it's going to be up. And you're going to be in a place where everything you did, everything you followed is going to be exposed, and you're going to be in eternal torment for following those things because those things led you astray. By then it'd be too late to say, I didn't know. I repent. I hid myself because I was scared. It's too late then. So the time to come out from hiding is now. All right? Almost finished. Bear with me. Verse 11. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Okay? Excuses, right? What you're saying is, the denomination that you place me in, they, their pastor, their elders, whatever the case might be, they told me this, so that's why I was partaking in that. But you know the word has spoken to you. You studied the word for yourself, so you knew better. No excuse, right? Verse 13. And the Most High said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat, right? Now we know the judgment, the curse that was placed on both, all three parties, right? All three parties, the man, the woman, and the serpent, right? The serpent knew exactly what he was doing. Came to tempt Eve, came to deceive Eve. She fell for the deception, and her husband went right along with it. That's the same thing we do when we follow these denominatives, right? Sometimes some of us will stand on the truth, right? Us men, all right? I'm going to use us men as an example, right? We'll stand on the truth, but yet we'll let our woman, right, our wives, convince us otherwise. So, same old game, same old thing. I'm going to come from the woman. I'm going to deceive the woman. I know I can get to the man. Us men, speaking as to us men, we know better. But what have we all done at some point in time in our lives? We've done it, but now it's time to stop. That era is over, okay? As men, we have to follow the Most High. As women too. But see, us men, we are men, so we are designed to lead our households the right way, okay? We can't let what we are afraid of our kids to see or our kids to hear, or what people are going to say to our kids, how they're going to make fun of our kids or whatever, to make us compromise, to lead us astray. We got to stand on our square, men, and we got to stand strong, all right? We got to stand up as men, and we have to obey the word. We have to obey his voice. We have to obey what he has planted in us and what he has told us to stick to, how he has told us to follow him, how he has instructed us to obey him, right? We're not going to do it perfectly. However, we know the truth, so we got to stand on it, right? We got to stand on it. We're going to mess up from time to time, but we got to stand on it. But when we mess up, we need to express our mess up, right? To the Most High, express our mess up, right? We can't give it a name to cover our shame. We can't fall under something and give it a name it's really just a covering because I've messed up. It's really just a covering because I listened to the wrong voice or the wrong voices. I've messed up, and this is just a covering as an excuse for me to do what I really want to do and what my flesh wants to do to gratify me. All right? So it's time out. It's time out for what we have done. It's time out for what we are doing. When we have given it a name to cover the shame. It's time out for that. All right? So today, I'm not talking about literally, but today, who's in agreement with this word and you're ready to get naked, right? Not even realize you're naked because you're in the truth. You're maintaining your innocence, right? Or are you obviously guilty and therefore you create a name for something, you create a covering for something to cover your shame? The choice is yours. Everybody have a happy, blessed Sabbath. I'm out. Shalom.